Did you know that 87% of adults over 60 who die from stroke had one specific blood pressure number elevated while the other looked perfectly normal? Recent research from Harvard Medical School reveals that millions of seniors are focusing on the wrong number entirely, putting themselves at risk for heart attack, stroke, and even dementia without realizing it. As a cardiovascular specialist who has worked with hundreds of patients struggling with high blood pressure, I need to share something urgent with you today. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly which number poses the greatest threat to your health and what you can do about it starting right now. Comment below which blood pressure number worries you most, the top or the bottom. I will be replying to each one. Here is what happens when you check your blood pressure. You see two numbers stacked on top of each other. The top number is your systolic pressure, measuring the force when your heart beats. The bottom number is your diastolic pressure, showing the pressure when your heart rests between beats. Most people assume both numbers matter equally, but that assumption could be silently destroying your cardiovascular system. According to the American Heart Association's 2025 guidelines, over 122 million Americans have elevated blood pressure. What they do not tell you is that after age 60, the rules change completely. The relationship between these two numbers shifts dramatically, and ignoring this shift puts you in serious danger. Studies from the Framingham Heart Study followed over 5,000 participants for more than 30 years. They discovered that isolated systolic hypertension, where only the top number is elevated, accounts for nearly 65% of all hypertension cases in people over 65. This is not just a minor concern. When your systolic pressure climbs while your diastolic remains normal or even drops, your arteries are becoming stiff. Think of it like a garden hose. When the hose is new and flexible, water flows smoothly. As it ages and hardens, pressure builds up with each surge of water. Your arteries work the same way. Without treatment, elevated systolic pressure creates a cascade of problems that worsen over time. Within just 2 to 3 years, your risk of stroke increases by 40%. Your heart muscle thickens abnormally as it struggles to pump against the resistance. Your kidneys begin to deteriorate because they cannot filter blood properly under constant high pressure. Most dangerous of all, this damage happens silently. You feel fine while your blood vessels are quietly being destroyed from the inside out. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association in 2024 showed that every 20-point increase in systolic pressure above 120 doubles your risk of cardiovascular death. But here's the shocking part most people do not know. When your diastolic pressure drops too low, below 70, while your systolic remains elevated, you enter an even more dangerous zone. This creates what doctors call wide pulse pressure, and it is a red flag that your arteries have lost their elasticity entirely. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to see me 3 years ago. Her blood pressure readings showed 158 over 68. She kept telling me she was not worried because her bottom number looked great. Her previous doctor had told her the diastolic was the important one to watch. Margaret trusted that advice completely. Over the next 18 months, she started having dizzy spells when standing up quickly. She noticed she could not walk to her mailbox without feeling winded. Her daughter found her confused one morning, unable to remember what day it was. When we ran comprehensive tests, Margaret had suffered 2 small, silent strokes. Her brain scan showed areas of damage from inadequate blood flow. Her kidneys were functioning at only 60% capacity. All of this happened because she focused on the wrong number. Here is what happens when systolic pressure stays elevated year after year. The constant pounding damages the delicate lining of your arteries. This triggers inflammation and allows cholesterol to embed in the artery walls. Plaque builds up. Blood clots form more easily. A clot breaks free and travels to your brain, and suddenly you have a stroke that changes your life forever. Now let me share Harold's story. He was 68 years old when his wife insisted he come see me. His readings typically showed 148 over 92. Harold was convinced his bottom number was the real problem because it was higher than normal. He spent 2 years trying to lower his diastolic through diet and medication. His doctor kept adjusting his pills to bring that bottom number down. Eventually, they succeeded. His diastolic dropped to 72, but his systolic barely budged, staying around a 145. Harold felt proud that he had gotten his diastolic under control. 3 months later, he collapsed while mowing his lawn. The emergency room doctors told his wife he had experienced a major cardiac event. His heart muscle had thickened so much from pumping against high systolic pressure that it could no longer function efficiently. Harold survived, but he now lives with permanent heart damage that could have been prevented if someone had explained which number truly mattered most for someone his age. Comment dizzy spells if you have experienced this. Let me know your age as well. Before we talk about solutions, you need to understand what makes this problem worse. Most seniors are unknowingly sabotaging their blood pressure every single day with common foods and habits they think are harmless. First, let's talk about processed deli meats. I am talking about your turkey sandwich at lunch, the ham you put on your breakfast bagel, or those convenient pre-sliced roast beef packages. Here is what happens when you eat these foods regularly. A single serving of deli meat contains between 400 and 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Your body needs sodium, but excessive amounts force your kidneys to retain water. This extra fluid volume increases the pressure in your blood vessels. Your systolic number climbs higher and stays there. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. The sodium in processed meats also damages your endothelium. This is the delicate inner lining of your arteries that helps them expand and contract. Once damaged, your arteries lose their flexibility permanently. Every sandwich you eat is literally hardening your arteries from the inside out. Robert, age 76, loved his daily pastrami sandwich. He bought the expensive low-fat variety thinking he was making a healthy choice. His systolic pressure crept from 135 to 162 over the course of just 14 months. When he finally eliminated processed meats entirely and switched to fresh grilled chicken, his systolic dropped 18 points within 8 weeks. Second, you need to avoid sitting for long periods without movement. Most seniors do not realize that prolonged sitting is as dangerous for blood pressure as smoking. When you sit for more than 30 minutes at a time, blood pools in your legs. Your heart has to work harder to circulate that blood back up to your chest and brain. This increases systolic pressure significantly. Research from the Mayo Clinic in 2023 showed that people who sat for more than 8 hours daily had systolic readings an average of 14 points higher than those who stood and moved regularly. Here is what happens when you remain sedentary. Your blood vessels do not get the natural expansion and contraction they need to stay flexible. Your metabolism slows down. Your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, which triggers inflammation throughout your circulatory system. All of this drives your systolic pressure higher and higher. Dorothy, age 81, spent most of her day in her recliner watching television. She took medication for her blood pressure, but it never seemed to work well. Her readings hovered around 156 over 75. Her doctor kept increasing her medication dosage, but nothing helped. Finally, her physical therapist convinced her to stand up and walk around her living room for just 2 minutes every half hour. Within 3 weeks, Dorothy's systolic pressure dropped to 142. By 6 weeks, she was down to 134. She did not change her diet or add new medications. She simply stopped sitting all day. Third, avoid chronic stress without finding healthy outlets. When you experience stress, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones cause your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to constrict. Your systolic pressure spikes immediately. If this happens occasionally, your body recovers quickly. But here is the hidden disaster. Chronic stress keeps these hormones elevated constantly. Your blood vessels remain constricted. Your heart pounds away at higher speeds day after day. This is especially dangerous for seniors because your arteries cannot handle the constant pressure like they did when you were younger. James, age 73, worried constantly about his finances after retirement. His systolic readings were consistently between 152 and 168, despite taking 3 different blood pressure medications. His doctor referred him to a counselor who taught him breathing exercises and meditation techniques. James was skeptical but decided to try. He practiced deep breathing for just 10 minutes twice daily. He started journaling about his worries instead of letting them circle in his mind endlessly. Within 2 months, his systolic pressure had dropped to 136. His doctor was able to reduce his medication. James could not believe that managing his stress had such a powerful physical effect. Fourth, you must avoid chronic dehydration. Many seniors deliberately drink less water because they want to avoid frequent bathroom trips. This backfires terribly. When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. Your heart has to pump harder to move that thick blood through your system. Your systolic pressure rises as a direct result. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. Dehydration also signals your kidneys to retain sodium. This sodium retention increases blood volume, which drives your systolic pressure even higher. You create a vicious cycle where less water intake leads to higher blood pressure, which makes you feel tired. So you sit more, which raises your pressure further. Comment, I am guilty. If you have been doing any of these, do not worry, you are about to learn how to fix it. Now let's discuss the solutions that can protect your cardiovascular system starting today. I am going to count these down from number 5 to number 1, saving the most powerful for last. Number 5 is beetroot juice or cooked beets. Do you know what happens when you consume beets? They contain natural compounds called nitrates. Your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide within about 2 hours of eating them. Nitric oxide is like a master key that unlocks your blood vessels, allowing them to relax and expand. When your arteries relax, blood flows more easily. Your heart does not have to pump as hard. Your systolic pressure drops naturally. A study from Queen Mary University of London, published in 2023, followed 168 patients with elevated systolic hypertension. One group drank 8 ounces of beetroot juice daily. The control group drank a placebo juice with no nitrates. After just 4 weeks, the beetroot group showed an average systolic reduction of 8 points. After 12 weeks, the average drop was 14 points. The diastolic pressure barely changed, which is exactly what we want for older adults. Here is how to use beets effectively. Drink 8 ounces of pure beetroot juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. If the taste is too strong, mix it with carrot or apple juice. Alternatively, you can roast or steam fresh beets and eat 1 cup daily with your lunch or dinner. You should notice improved energy within 3 days as your circulation improves. Your systolic readings should start dropping within 2 weeks. Number 4 is potassium-rich foods, specifically bananas, sweet potatoes, and white beans. Here is what happens when you increase your potassium intake. Potassium works like a natural water pill, helping your kidneys flush excess sodium from your body. Every molecule of potassium you consume helps eliminate sodium molecules. As sodium leaves your system, your blood volume decreases. Lower blood volume means lower pressure against your artery walls. Your systolic number comes down naturally. Research from the American Heart Association in 2024 analyzed data from over 11,000 participants aged 60 to 85. Those who consumed at least 3,500 milligrams of potassium daily had systolic pressures an average of 11 points lower than those consuming less than 2,000 milligrams daily. But here's what makes potassium especially powerful for older adults. It also helps your blood vessels remain flexible and responsive. Potassium supports the endothelial cells that line your arteries, helping them produce nitric oxide naturally. You get a double benefit. You eliminate excess sodium while simultaneously improving arterial function. Start your day with 1 medium banana and 1 cup of cubed sweet potato. This gives you approximately 1,400 milligrams of potassium right there. Add 1 cup of white beans to your lunch or dinner for another 1,000 milligrams. You will reach your daily target easily without supplements. Most people notice better energy and reduced ankle swelling within 1 week as excess fluid leaves their system. Systolic pressure should drop 6 to 10 points within 3 to 4 weeks of consistent high potassium intake. Number 3 is daily walking, but with a specific timing strategy that amplifies the effect. I am not talking about taking 1 long walk per day. I am talking about taking 4 short walks of just 10 minutes each spread throughout your day. Here's what happens when you walk in short bursts multiple times daily. Each walk triggers the release of nitric oxide in your arteries. Your blood vessels dilate and remain more flexible for about 2 hours after each walk. By spacing 4 walks throughout your day, you keep your arteries in a relaxed state almost constantly. Your systolic pressure stays lower all day long instead of spiking between morning and evening. A study from the American College of Cardiology in 2023 compared 2 groups of seniors with isolated systolic hypertension. One group walked 30 minutes once daily. The other group walked 10 minutes 4 times daily. After 8 weeks, the first group showed an average systolic reduction of 6 points. The second group, walking the same total amount but spread throughout the day, showed an average reduction of 12 points. The difference was dramatic. The key is consistency and timing. Take your first walk right after breakfast. Walk again mid-morning around 10 or 11. Take another walk after lunch. Take your final walk in early evening before dinner. Each walk should be brisk enough that you can talk but not sing. You are looking for moderate intensity, not a leisurely stroll. You should feel slightly breathless but not exhausted. What to expect? Within the first week, you will notice improved sleep and more consistent energy throughout the day. By week 3, your systolic readings should start dropping noticeably. By week 8, you could see reductions of 10 to 15 points if you remain consistent. The best part is this approach works even if you have mobility limitations. You can walk around inside your home. You can walk in place while holding a counter for balance. The movement itself triggers the beneficial effects. Before I reveal the number 1 solution, which of these surprised you most? Comment below. Number 2 is hibiscus tea, specifically the deep red variety made from Hibiscus sabdarifa flowers. Do you know what happens when you drink hibiscus tea regularly? The flower contains powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. These compounds have a direct effect on your renin-angiotensin system, the hormonal pathway that controls blood pressure. When this system becomes overactive, it constricts your blood vessels and increases sodium retention. Hibiscus anthocyanins essentially calm this system down, allowing your blood vessels to relax. A landmark study published in the Journal of Hypertension in 2024 followed 312 adults aged 60 to 78 with isolated systolic hypertension. Participants drank 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily for 12 weeks. The average systolic reduction was 13 points. More importantly, 68% of participants were able to reduce their blood pressure medication dosages under medical supervision. Traditional medicine in Africa and Asia has used hibiscus for centuries to treat circulatory problems. Modern research confirms what traditional healers knew instinctively. The flower works powerfully and safely for cardiovascular health. Brew 1 hibiscus tea bag in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 minutes. Drink it unsweetened or with a small amount of honey. Have 1 cup in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. The tea has a tart, cranberry-like flavor that most people enjoy. You should notice better circulation and warmer hands and feet within 1 week as your blood vessels relax. Your systolic pressure should begin dropping within 2 to 3 weeks. Number 1, and this is the most powerful solution of all, is the DASH eating pattern combined with reduced sodium intake below 1,500 milligrams daily. Here is what happens when you follow this approach. The DASH diet emphasizes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins while limiting saturated fats and processed foods. This combination provides your body with the exact nutrients it needs to maintain healthy blood pressure naturally. The original DASH study from 1997, repeated multiple times since then, showed systolic reductions averaging 11 points within just 2 weeks. But when participants also reduced sodium to 1,500 milligrams daily, the average systolic reduction jumped to 18 points. For seniors with isolated systolic hypertension, the results are even more dramatic. A 2023 follow-up study focusing specifically on adults over 65 found average systolic reductions of 22 points after 8 weeks on the low-sodium DASH approach. Here's why this works so powerfully. You are simultaneously removing the substances that damage your arteries while flooding your body with nutrients that repair and protect them. The high potassium content helps eliminate excess sodium. The calcium and magnesium relax your blood vessel walls. The antioxidants reduce inflammation. The fiber helps your gut produce compounds that naturally lower blood pressure. It is like giving your entire cardiovascular system a complete overhaul from the inside out. Here's exactly how to implement this. Start by cutting all processed foods, packaged snacks, canned soups, and restaurant meals which contain hidden sodium. Cook at home using fresh ingredients. Season with herbs, garlic, lemon juice, and pepper instead of salt. Build each meal around vegetables and fruits, aiming for 9 servings daily. Include 1 serving of low-fat dairy like yogurt or milk. Add lean protein like chicken breast, fish, or legumes. Choose whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, or oatmeal instead of white bread or pasta. What to expect? Within the first week, you will likely notice reduced bloating as excess fluid leaves your body. By week 2, your energy levels should improve noticeably. By week 4, your systolic readings should drop significantly. By week 8, many people find their blood pressure in the normal range for the first time in years, even if they need to continue medication at lower doses. Here is what makes these solutions work even better together. When you drink beetroot juice in the morning, walk 4 times throughout the day, sip hibiscus tea between meals, and follow the DASH eating pattern, the effects multiply. Each intervention supports the others. Let me give you 3 practical examples. For breakfast, have steel-cut oatmeal topped with sliced banana and fresh berries, plus 8 ounces of beetroot juice. This combination gives you potassium, fiber, nitrates, and antioxidants all working together. The nitrates from the beets will start relaxing your arteries within 2 hours, just as you take your first 10-minute walk. For lunch, prepare a large salad with leafy greens, roasted beets, white beans, grilled chicken, and a lemon vinaigrette. Drink 8 ounces of hibiscus tea alongside your meal. You are getting more potassium, lean protein, fiber, and the blood pressure lowering compounds from hibiscus all at once. Take your second walk 30 minutes after eating to maximize the circulation benefits. For dinner, bake a sweet potato, serve it with steamed broccoli and grilled salmon seasoned with garlic and herbs. Drink another cup of hibiscus tea. Take your evening walk an hour after eating. This combination provides omega-3 fatty acids from the salmon, potassium from the sweet potato, and compounds from the broccoli that support healthy blood vessel function. Important safety information you need to know. If you are currently taking blood pressure medication, do not stop it suddenly. These dietary and lifestyle changes can lower your pressure significantly, which is wonderful. But you need to monitor your readings carefully and work with your doctor to adjust your medications appropriately. Some people find their blood pressure drops too low if they continue the same medication dosages while following these recommendations. Watch for signs of low blood pressure, including dizziness when standing, unusual fatigue, or blurred vision. If you experience these symptoms, contact your healthcare provider immediately. If you have kidney disease, talk to your doctor before dramatically increasing potassium intake, as your kidneys may not process it properly. If you take blood thinners, discuss beetroot juice with your doctor, as it can interact with certain medications. Always consult your healthcare provider if you have multiple health conditions or take several medications. You now have the knowledge to take control of your cardiovascular health. This is not complicated or expensive. You do not need special equipment or complicated meal plans. The truth is that after age 60, your systolic pressure is the number that matters most. It is the number that predicts your stroke risk. It is the number that determines whether your heart will remain strong or deteriorate. It is the number that affects your kidney function, your brain health, and ultimately your independence as you age. You do not have to accept high systolic pressure as an inevitable part of getting older. Thousands of people have brought their numbers down using the exact strategies I shared with you today. Comment one of three things. First, comment my systolic number is and tell me what it usually reads. Second, comment I am starting today if you are ready to implement these changes right now. Third, comment which solution will you try first and let me know which one resonated most with you. If this information helped you understand which blood pressure number truly matters, please subscribe to this channel right now. Next week, I am revealing the 3 medications doctors prescribe for high blood pressure that recent research suggests may be doing more harm than good, especially for people over 70. You need to see that video before your next doctor appointment. Click that subscribe button so you do not miss it. Remember, you have more control over your blood pressure than you realize. Your body wants to heal. You just need to give it the right tools. Start with one change today, add another next week. Within 2 months, you could transform your cardiovascular health completely. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs this information. You might save their life.